Recording. Cool. I did test your levels. Your levels are good. So, Cookie, what's up? It's been a while, man. How's it going?
How's things going? I'm happy to be here because I'm currently we're currently in the Lone Trail phase of Arknights. It's the hype period, but at the same time I can't fully enjoy the event. I'm in a hype period for my university. It's called the exams.
I
But
completely
I think
understand.
things are going fine. Yeah.
I mean, that's good to hear, dude. So, so everything's been good, like channel-wise. I know after you left LA and Anime Expo, which we'll talk about a little bit later. For a while, you had slowed down a bit, but then you just started like pumping stuff out, and I noticed that like immediately. I'm like, whoa, Cookie's pumping stuff out again. That's crazy. So is that due to your schedule, or is that just like?
I wouldn't say that I pump stuff out as much as I used to. Like if I look at how I did in 2022, 2021, those years I had way more videos than now. I feel like now I'm very sporadic. So, at certain times I'm like, okay, I can get more videos out. And then all of a sudden, when I realize I have a certain project that I wish to do, I end up not completing it because I'm still in school. Every semester of university just makes me more and more surprised with the amount of workload I have to do. But I do hope that once this kind of year ends, that 2024 is like, my year kind of thing. Everyone comes into a new year and say that's their year.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
then I realize 2023 is not my year.
Well, let's hope.
May next year be better.
Yeah, let's hope 2024 doesn't throw any loops for you, and you're able to like, fully do what you want to do. I mean, speaking of AX though, so what did you think of? I don't know if we had gotten a full video on it. No, I know you did a brief video about Anime Expo, but what did you think of Los Angeles in general?
The video that I posted up was the little mini concert that they had in LAX. That was fun to be a part of. I remember going for the mini concert to sacrifice my Demon Dice signature. I think it was worth it in the end because I got a different set of signatures. It was with the Arknights singers, but a Demon Dice one on the side would be nice. But I haven't really put up the videos of everything else. It's still on my phone. I do wish to still make a compilation so that I can put it as like a memory of whatsoever that happened. I still haven't shown people my in and out review yet. I think that's important, right?
Oh my god, dude.
And then I still have to show people all the food that I got to eat. It was a fun time. I miss America. Ever since that day, I think I'm on the counter of, hey guys, I miss America, and it's like 6 months now that I miss it.
Are you thinking about coming back to for AX next year?
Not next year. Next year around that time, I will probably be having like an internship, like a job that I have to do. It's part of a school requirement. So no to next year. Maybe the year after, as long as I suppose I'm sitting in a comfy job, I wouldn't mind going back to America again.
Yeah. I mean, by that point, we'll be Enfield content creators. Assuming it comes out,
I think
right?
by then. I have good hopes that Enfield should be out by 2025. I'm not so sure about 2024, but I think 2025 is a confirmed.
Yeah, I have similar also like doubts of it because they're doing a tech demo. Even though that tech demo or the tech play, the alpha, they said alpha, and I'm like, it looks like a beta. There's a lot of content there.
Yeah, so there was something interesting about Enfield, by the way. I was told this by a few viewers on the stream, where because it's like a alpha test and people want to scrape whatever details they can about the game. It's so funny. The game is changing its lore and some of its contents as the test is going. By the way, like there's certain year dates and information being removed. But a few viewers told me that when they check the version number for the game, even though they say it's an alpha technical test, apparently the version that they have is called CBT1, which meant beta.
Yeah, that's what that means.
It seems like, but it seems like they renamed it like maybe last minute, so that, because if it's a beta test, I don't think you can change a lot of features of the game, right? It's kind of like as if it's nearly done, which the game does look nearly done, but they call it alpha. I think it's to protect themselves.
I mean, yeah. it also kind of harkens back to the days of where a lot of Western developers would say, what is it, pre-alpha game footage, which was a lie.
Yeah.
Just to make it seem like, hey, it looks this good now. Imagine when it comes out, and oftentimes when it came out, it actually looked worse. I don't believe that to be the same case for Enfield, because we are long past those days. But I do think that they really wanted to stress test the game, see what problems were in it, and then see, okay, if there's any big problems, we can just say, hey, this is an alpha though. We're going to change some stuff, which they are going to change some stuff. There's a few buggy things. They're still clearly working on the combat. Like you said, they're changing some lore stuff actively. Like for the fact that one of the collectibles or something said that it was 500 years in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they removed that, which is like, why would you remove that information?
I mean, it's cool if it's 500 years, right? If Angelina is a clone of the original one, that's totally fine.
Well, you see, if they change the lore now, and then they just suddenly say, actually it was 100 years later, and then this actually allows for Arknights and Enfield to collab. The problem is if it's 500 years later, they can't collab.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be super cool if you could do something in Enfield, and, because you link it to a Yostar account, right? So it's just like, all right, cool, we're going to send you something in Arknights. I doubt it would be vice versa, though, because more people would go to Enfield than they would to Arknights, since that's more of a hardcore niche community, especially now. A community that has been changing a lot recently. Sorry, go on.
I don't play Genshin and Honkai enough. I don't remember if they have a feature where if you spend a certain time in that game, you get something else in another game.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so, but I am noticing that Hypergriff is trying its absolute best to differentiate itself from anything Hoyo made, which I appreciate, because I'm getting really sick of Hoyo clones going out there.
Oh, there's lots of it every step of the way. I was hoping that Zenless would be a very different looking game, by Hoyoverse, but I don't think it's anything.
When I saw the trailer that came out almost a month ago, as of this recording, one of the final bosses that they put at the very end of the video, I'm like, that's just something from Star Rail, Genshin. It's, it's their design philosophy is very cohesive and similar, almost to a fault. But I still like the games, right? I get my enjoyment from certain Hoyo games. I don't really play them avidly, but I do like them. So Arknights, though, again, I'm really hoping Enfield does something different enough. I really like the Satisfactory type gameplay for the micromanagement and base management. I'm all in for that. I am wondering what the community is going to change and how it's going to change. So I'm sure, as you're aware, we're all aware, Yee's done now with AK. Respectfully, though, I loved his recent video. It was phenomenal. What are your thoughts on that? It's not just Yee. There's a lot of other content creators that are.
I don't think I've got to see Yee's video, but I did manage to catch snippets. A whole 1 hour piece, unexpected. I've long known that Yee was going to make a NSO video, but then I didn't think that he was going to make it that humongous of a video essay. But it's a job well done, because it goes to show how much he really cared of that game and just how much he wants to play it. At this rate, he might just make videos of every single game that he really, really loves. So I might be spoiling his works, but expect a Nekopara video to appear in 1 month or something.
Oh my god, I can't
1 hour video essay on Nekopara.
I can't. Well, we'll have to double check, by the way, if I can leave that in.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask.
No, I think you can leave that in, because Yee never told me he was going to make one. I'm just saying, I'm claiming that Yee might. Yeah. Because he has many hundreds of hours on Nekopara, and he also has hundreds of hours on News Dash, so maybe those are the next 2 games he will make videos out of. But I think it's perfectly fine that he made the decision. The community reaction was rather mixed. I wouldn't say it's like 50-50, but there were definitely people who were very taken aback by his move, and they kind of like feel that he's not doing something that's justifiable. For me, I see of it as completely okay, because we're in this game already for like 4 years, and I think 4 years in the same exact thing is a very long time. Like, you gotta think of it as, we're young people. Let's just assume that our ages are 20. 4 years means it's already taken up like 20% of our time. It does depend how dedicated to the craft you are. Like, certain content creators, maybe say myself, I'm very, very deep into AK. I do play other games, I just don't make content for them. Whereas, same thing for Yi, like, he spends so much time. So, I feel that at a certain point, you will think about transitioning, because it's quite scary to think that your mind, everything about your daily life is filled by the same thing. And after a while, you look back and think, darn, I could have used my time differently. Not that you necessarily really want to, but interest will drop at some point. And if Yi's interest has dropped completely, I think it's only for the sake of his own health and sanity to do some changes.
I mean, I respect it. I think if anything, the switch from AK to NSO was, I think it's credence to how great of a content creator he actually is. And I completely understand we're fans. I'm a fan of his videos. Where they're coming from of, but you're not doing the thing I like anymore. It's like, yeah, but after a point, stop becoming about the game, right? I just like the content creator. And I think he does great videos. I've really loved his skits and whatnot. Dude has very like comedic writing and whatnot. And it's good to see him grow more into it and do stuff that makes him happy. And I think it's the biggest takeaway. And again, I'm noticing this from a couple of other content creators, a few of them who have yet to make the move, which I'm not going to bring up, but it's like I completely respect it, and I do hope like if whatever makes them happy is truly the best. But yeah, no, it's good to get your insight on that.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you think your future is for AK?
For Arknights, I find that, I still love the game. As much as my regularity in terms of like posting videos may not be ideal right now, but I know that I'm still very, very much in love with anything that the game does. The community is a bit of a half-half, because as time progresses, you see changes in the way the community behaves, and I'm not very certain if I enjoy the way that the AK community is starting to turn into. I don't know why in the 4th year, but even so, I think I'll still be around in the game for at least another good year, and I do hope to do it for very, very long. Like, to me, in order for me to really drop off from the game, it's if suddenly I look at their game direction and I see it's really not what I want to support, then I'd probably drop out. But the game has been innovating. Every single step of the way, yeah, like every single time, I just think to myself, what other things you should do to twist the idea of a tower defense game, and suddenly there's this game mode, suddenly there's that. It's not so regular like every 3 months, but you do see that every maybe 6 months, and I think that's enough to keep me there and say, I want to see what these devs can think of. And it's the same kind of hope that I have for like Enfield, because Enfield is made by the same producers, and they themselves have also said they want to change up the RPG genre. So I kind of remain hopeful for that, but I don't also think that I will stay in Arknights content for like that being the only thing. I myself personally, I want to make, I myself, I do wish to make stuff for others games as well. And honestly, as far as I like to play games, I actually enjoy being out of my house more than playing games. So I've ever thought of the idea of just filming whatever that I want, my own life, my own little antics that I do outside, and just make them into a video, let people have fun as well. I'd rather be variety. I think that's how I imagine things when I first started out streaming. Streaming was the first, and then it was YouTube. And Arknights happened, and somehow I'm just like, you think of variety as like the big spectrum of things, and then Arknights came in, and I'm now like very deep underground with Arknights. Now I'm just trying to crawl and go back to the everything again.
Like trying to escape a black hole. But you hear that, folks? Cookie's now gonna be a daily life vlogger.
I don't see myself restricting it as only like a daily life. I just think of it as it's like a YouTube thing. Whatever I want to do on YouTube, let me go around and have fun. You know, if I want to show food, time to show food. If I want to show people random skit ideas that I have, I'll do that. And I'll still play games along the side. So yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see you write some skits. It's just funny.
Oh,
actually, how a little bit off track. How was it actually hanging out with some of the content creators? Kind of like to backtrack just a little bit.
In America?
Yeah. When we were all in like the house at the Airbnb.
It's just a very unreal feeling. I love meeting online friends. A lot of my friends do come from online, whether it's like past games that I played, and then here it's we meet together because of content creation. But it was a first for me to go overseas on my own as well. Actually, I've never traveled like even to the neighboring countries on my own. Although I'm going to do that again later this year in December. I'm going to Indonesia. Although not really on my own. It's with friends. And it's the same thing. Yes, I went to America with friends, but it's more like, you know, not a family trip kind of thing. So it's wild to have been able to go to your place, to meet your buddy in the same place, and then subsequently to meet everyone all together. I think it's just like, if you ask me years ago, would I imagine doing that? No, probably not. But I'm glad to have that experience and have so much fun with people that I first meet within the same house that we decided to put ourselves in. So
yeah, dude, it was tons of fun for me. That was also my first experience with like properly getting together in person with the community, especially of other content creators.
Yeah.
And I remember in our last interview, the hangout where we were eating, I was saying like, oh, you don't know how much I've really wanted to be considered like really part of the community as an Arknights content creator. Now I fully am. It's great. Honestly, I love it. And I loved meeting all you guys and having you crash at, you and Zaf crash at my place for a week was also a lot of fun. Plenty of great banter there. The fucking In-N-Out, the In-N-Out, dude. We gotta post that.
Yeah, I rewatched it recently. And I was like, oh my goodness, look at the face of joy of Cookie.
You just exploded when I took you to In-N-Out, and you're just like, this is the best thing ever. I'm like, it's a pretty good burger. I wouldn't say it's the best personally, but it's a really good burger and it's cheap.
Oh,
which is what I love.
It stays on my mind. It stays there. It's still the best burger I've eaten.
Well, next time you come to
can't change.
Yeah, next time you come to America, I'll make sure to greet you at the airport with an In-N-Out burger.
Wow. Okay, that's like the best like airport welcome that I can actually get.
Absolutely. I get you the full, and I get you a shake as well, and there you go.
Oh,
immediately get off the
America was definitely the time for me to easily gain weight. I don't know if I told you of that, but instantly I weighed myself before the trip, and then I weighed myself after the trip, and I was like, it's 2 weeks that I'm there. How bad can it be? And I gained a straight like, if I say in pounds equivalent, that's like 5 pounds straight up in 2 weeks. I was like, shit.
About 1.5 kilos.
2 kilos.
It was 2 kilos? Jesus. Yeah, it's about like 6 pounds. I mean, it's mostly water weight, so you're fine. You slim back down, you're good. It's not...
Yeah. Bro, right after America was when I made the commitment to say, okay, fuck it, I'm taking like time on my health and like working on myself. You remember when I was at your place and then after you were telling me to use your gym equipment and whatnot? I didn't really wanted myself to go about doing that because I don't personally gym myself and I wasn't in the mood to try. But the things around my house has changed. Like all of a sudden you see on the side of the camera,
I see a yoga mat. Yeah, dumbbells and a yoga mat. Look at that. I've changed them.
Yeah. I mean, I decided to work on myself ever since, so that I can slim back down and be happier of myself. So yeah.
Oh, that's good though, dude. I'm still trying to do that. It's a struggle when you're surrounded by the American food, and then you have to have like more self-control about like, no, I can't eat this. Shouldn't eat that.
Well, America's a tough one.
I know.
to control.
I know. I mean, it's. I'm glad that you got that future upcoming trip, and both this year and in 2025, which again we hope to see you there. I know Viper is giddy. He's so excited about like AX this year. Viper.
Oh, about another round of AX?
Yeah. Viper's just like, we're doing it again. And I'm like, are you? Yeah, sure. I can do it. Enjoy. Yeah, we'll get you stuff, or we'll have one of our friends get you some stuff and send it to you. Just like we have the now, you got the Zoom mic too, from me, so you can easily record stuff out.
But I did, yeah.
It's the same
I did want to mention, AX is like maybe the best conventions, honestly. Like, as far as they were talking about how they want to go to like Singapore, come to the convention. I mean, it's a whole different experience altogether to come to Singapore. But I am going to go to Indonesia to experience that convention as well. And I don't think AX is going to be even comparable to any of these places. Even in Malaysia, even in any of the Southeast Asia region. Maybe the one to contest is Japan. Like, the one I really want to go to now is to Japan to see what that convention is like compared to America. But I think AX is just a whole other thing of its own. Like, the idea of using the entire space of the building is just crazy.
Oh yeah, it's not just the whole building too. It's also a city block. Because there's other buildings that they go into.
Exactly. I didn't get to experience the activities in like the neighboring stuff where they had the panels, the shows, and everything over there.
Yeah.
Goes to say I need to go back so that I can make sure I have everything locked down for me.
We'll be welcome for it, and you can always crash at my place. So it's
lovely.
Always good. Well, I mean, speaking of all this
stuff... If I crash at your
stuff...
place, I need board game. I need more board games if I
Oh
get
yeah.
to your place.
Oh yeah. Well, we have the entire closet, the Emporium of Pleasure, just nothing but board games from floor to ceiling.
My nighttime activities will be all blanked out for us to just play board games.
Hell yeah. Was it you who was telling me before you had shown up? I'm like, oh, I'm not a big fan of like board games or card games. I said it was you or somebody else, another friend of ours, and then...
I don't think so. I love board games all the while.
Oh, it's okay. That's good. So you have those future plans set up. What do you have for your channel? Any special things that you have coming up?
Special things for my channel. Honestly, I intend to do more. I think looking back at my channel, one of the types of videos that people honestly enjoy a lot more are the ones that have like a bigger topic of AK. I like to describe those videos as like documentary-ish or video essay-like. So, for example, the part where I discuss why limited banners are a thing in Arknights. As much as I don't like that it's one of my most watched videos, but the Chen Outer video was the most watched. And I start to realize there's this trend where such videos are really like the favorites. So I intend to go back into that realm to maybe start like bringing up certain bigger topics. Like actually, there was one I intended to make by next week, which is Arknights deserving of the HMMA award. I think you've heard that, or you've seen the 1,000 Orandums that entered your account. But basically, they've won a award for their concert.
Oh,
I was quite bewildered.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. I'm like, why would Arknights win over Genshin or Honkai, for example?
Because our music slaps.
So I wanted to go and look up on that. I mean, Genshin and Honkai wasn't nominated for the award, but I spent some time to compare and make some justifications to see whether it was really deserving or not. I mean, it's not just like external game stuff. I also want to talk back into the game itself, like talking about the 6 stars. Are there best 6 stars? Are there worst 6 stars? That kind of thing. So I think these topics will appeal to people a lot more because I think there's a lack of it in the space. I do intend to still finish up whatsoever that I've committed to. I think there was a silent promise that I made to myself, which is if I intend to leave AK entirely, before that, I'd have to make an operator showcase of every operator in the game.
Jeez.
But that is like 300 operators.
Yeah, no.
So am I ready to have 300 videos in my channel?
It's like my initial promise of when I first started getting into operator themes, and I'm like, I'm gonna do one for
operator theme.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do one for every single character. And looking back, I'm like, no, I'm not. No, that's impossible.
Looking back, I've not really erased my own goal. It's I'm not saying that I will make it. It's just it's a good thing to have in mind. And if I accomplish it, I'll be like, whoa, look at that. I've done that.
I mean, that's good. And leading into the next topic too about like AK community and the state of the game. For one, I just got this question right now for you. Do you feel like your style of content is leaving an impression on people who want to come up as content creators and start making their own videos about maybe not necessarily AK, but you know, their favorite videos? Do you feel like you're having an influence on people who are coming into content creation at all?
I think my impressions on people might be more to streaming, because I've seen a lot of my past viewers becoming streamers, and I find that maybe it's the way that I push for it. Like, I explained very, very clearly to people that my reasonings to stream is that it's a time where you go live and you get to entertain people during that period of time, and you got to make the best out of it, because people are spending their time on you to do only watching your stream compared to any other things. So I think whensoever I perpetuate that, I will suddenly see like 2 or 3 streamers sprout out, and I'm like, did I do that? But I don't think it's because I did that. I just see of it as maybe there's some kind of indirect influence. You know, I hit the switch for them. So yeah, YouTube on the other hand, I don't think as much. I feel like there are more bigger influencers out there who probably drive the way that people want to make their videos. It can be as simple as their thumbnail design, their style of speaking. But I mean, I think what I do is on my own.
So I semi-disagree with that in terms of YouTube or whatnot. In terms of like, you know, being bigger matters. I don't necessarily think so. For one, it's great that you've influenced or given courage to people to start streaming and, you know, start really wanting to do their own streams. That's awesome. I think you probably do have an influence on YouTube as well for up-and-coming content creators. So, you know, objectively looking at my channel numbers aren't like amazing. They're modest. They're good. I've actually started to notice a lot of people doing character themes, and some of them, quite a few of them, are tagging me, and they're copying the same exact format of how I started doing my videos. And again, I'm not like huge or whatever, but I don't think that matters. I think people who like your work, really enjoy it, are going to take something from it, right? Aside from just the content and enjoying the content, they're going to it's going to make them feel something and be like, okay, I'd actually like to do something similar to this, right? If they want to go into content creation. So no, I think absolutely you should give yourself credit. There's probably people you're absolutely influencing to make the type of stuff, you know, because they saw your works.
I find that very tricky to kind of put to, apart from the copying incident that I had. There was a little feud that I had with a YouTuber who puts forth that he thinks that what was the order of actions again? He thinks that I copied his videos, which was wild. But on the other hand, I think it's the other way around, where I think he might have copied some of my stuff. It's so hilarious because after the feud, just a little snippets for anybody who's interested. Apparently he copied one of my entire Discord channel, like the literal rules and regulations of a channel with minimal paraphrase. and members of his server and my server had to highlight to me that they think something's wrong, that something might have been stolen. But I couldn't care less about it.
I mean,
But
it's
in
rules
any
and
case-
regulations. That's still funny.
Hey, but maybe that's influence right there that you're talking about. That
Yeah.
some people look to my stuff, but I don't see of it as like mega influence in the way that maybe people are taking good parts of what they watch of me, but I honestly don't think it's anything major. Because in terms of the style of videos in AK right now, I do think that some of the bigger creators and smaller ones, we all have our own unique way of presenting. The unfortunate one might be just the reaction YouTubers that might look very similar across each other. But if we
Yeah.
talk about people who make like Operator Showcase, there is no way my Operator Showcase is gonna look like Frostbite's, because Frostbite does his own thing.
Yeah, or
while Yi is
Shio.
around,
Yeah, or
yeah,
yeah.
while Yi is around, Yi isn't the same as well for between the two of us and all the other creators. Okay, if we talk about the people who do gameplay, there's no way for it to be different, because the only way
I
they present
understand
is
that. Yeah.
they don't have a speaking voice, they just play. But yeah, I don't think there is much copying going around. I expect that for Enfield though. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I
yeah.
think Enfield will become a bit of a you watch this person, you watch that person, start to take these and that. I won't do something like that. I'd be honest to say that as my long time of playing Arknights, I don't spend my YouTube watching Arknights videos. Instead, I spend my YouTube watching lots of esports videos, lots of just random thing that comes up in my recommended. But it's never AK. That's why I don't really take lessons or too much things from other people. It's not that I completely tune out. Time to time I click in, watch.
Right.
Like I watch E stuff.
Yeah.
I watch Viper stuff here and there, but just not a lot.
No,
Not
I mean,
not the same
same.
level as the usual AK consumer.
Of course, it's the
Yeah.
same for me. I don't watch all of Viper's stuff. Sometimes the algorithm keeps pushing it towards me and being like some salacious title and a thumbnail. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I've already personally talked to him about this. Like, not interested. Keeps popping up every time. I'm like, oh my gosh. A couple times I'll see like a title and be like, oh, what's this about? Check it out. Or I want to actually hear his feedback about something him and I haven't talked about. Or some of the videos you come out with where I'm like, oh, okay, let me hear about this. And those are always nice. So speaking of the AK community as a whole, though, you had touched on lightly that there are some parts of the community that have changed that you don't really like some of the changes in the community. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I can elaborate on it. I find that the game has reached a point where it's so like rock solid in a way where there's lots of veterans in the game. And unfortunately, a lot of veterans are putting their behaviors onto other players. I feel basically the whole year 1 or year 2 Arknights issue is popping back up in year 4, which is like elitism. People, it's not just to like other players, sometimes even onto myself, where I can make a video. I think recently I have this genre of putting up my gameplay, my streams, and compiling all the fun stuff and putting it into one video. And I get people asking, bro, why do you like play? Why didn't you do this? Why do you play so bad? What are you doing? Kind of thing. And I'm just there like, it's not that hard. I'm just having fun. I don't have to play it the right way all the time. Like I know what I want to do if I played it the right way the whole way through. But if I do that every single time, then the game isn't any different. So that's like one kind of trouble that I see. And then I don't think AK necessarily have the most, say, is siding the R18 side of things kind of community, but it perpetuates more and more as time passes, and I'm not a big fan of that. Like, I don't play games for the sake of that. I mean, that's the reason why I pick AK over something like Azure Lane and Nikki, right? But
let's not talk about
yeah,
Nikkei. I got back into it.
But like I'm seeing it like creep in so much, and it's just very tiring. It's to the point where I'm like, I might as well just go play some like tamer games. I don't know, Call of Duty or something, or Battlefield. Yeah, I mean, people make things about the characters in the game, but it's not as bad as like freaking anime games, I guess. So
That's fair.
yeah. I don't think it's all bad. The community is still a lovely one where I love the art community of AK more.
Absolutely.
The artists who loves to just tweet out their own works. The people who still support like the comics of AK, and at the same time, there is also the I think the people on Twitter as well. As much as there's the bad side, but there's also people who tweet some of the funniest stuff over there, and that makes it fun. But apart from that, I also find that one of the weaknesses now is because new players have such a hard time coming in since everyone is so good at the game. And now I don't think anyone really wants to focus on beginner content because that's like 4 years ago. I'm like maybe one of the later person who wants to do something like that. But I find that people don't know how to integrate any newbies that come in. Maybe they came in because they watched the anime. They came in because they saw the game, recommended it to a friend, and yeah, people don't teach very well onto these people. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, actually, speaking of the art, remember the stickers you gifted me?
The stickers that I gifted you, cool notes? Yep.
Yeah, cool notes. I actually got
Yep.
one on the microphone.
You got one on the microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah! In a piece. Okay, that's a cute one. That's
Yeah,
like to
I
remind
love it.
yourself regularly.
Oh yeah, it's because I look at the microphone the most, and also I have to holler into this thing for my songs. So inner piece. The Nyen one too is
sing
on
a good
the.
tune. And then after you look at your microphone.
And I think you already touched on the state of the game and how much you like it, which I agree with completely. Did you actually know that one of the writers for Baldur's Gate 3 commented? Yeah. If you guys watching didn't know, a writer from Baldur's Gate commented on the writing for Lone Trail and like how well it was done, which is pretty big for our community for a Chinese game that in the past, in the early chapters, we had so many mistranslations. And most people want to forget chapters 0 through 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's not to say that Lone Trail is a flawless, like, no mistranslation thing, but I don't read the story enough to know how bad the mistranslations are, by the way, but I do time to time think it can be very overblown because mistranslations might not be mistranslations, it could be misinterpretations. Like they use a certain word and they realize the word is not the best meaning, but that's just what they did. But I do think that they improved on their translation team for sure.
There were still a few that we caught when my buddy and I read it.
Yeah, but even so, the writing has been, I think the writing has been like on an upward trend since like year 2 AK, maybe since Near Light or whichever before Near Light. So yeah, it's a game with good storyline, although it takes a while to get there. Yes, 0 and 3 is still a stall. But like, I do wonder as to, even with the fact that Baldur's Gate's writer commented on this, right? It doesn't necessarily equate to lots of people still wanting to play the game. I think you need a major movement in order for a whole surge of people to come in.
So I guess the way I'm looking at it though is not, I'm not like, oh wow, they're gonna bring new people in. Personally, I don't care too much about that, at least in this situation. I care about it to an extent, but not in this situation. I'm more so, I have a profound pride of being like, yeah, I love this game. I actually really love the lore immensely. My manager and I, we get into deep lore dives where we just look at everything. Him and I kind of uncovered by ourselves that the Rhodes Island landship is a revenant. And we were just like, whoa, it's been there since day one with the whale, skeleton icon on the menu screen. And we're just like, wow, it's always been there. That's crazy. That's cool. I think the writing, the lore is amazing. So I take pride that another writer from a game that I also hold in extremely high regards. I've played Baldur's Gate 3 quite a bit.
Everyone does. gate
It's so
was
good.
sweet. The Steam Awards.
Hey,
Hey, is it the Steam Award?
Oh no, it's gonna be the Game
There's a
Awards.
Game Award.
Yeah,
The Game
VGAs.
Awards. Yeah, Baldur's Gate shall sweet.
When are we gonna do our
think-
campaign on Baldur's Gate? All right, you, me, Viper. Let's get some. Do it.
I haven't got the game yet, but I think
I'll gift it to you, dude. Hell yeah, we gotta play it. No, but I take a sense of pride though that somebody else who I hold in high regards, you know, a professional in the community, not in the community, but like in the video game sphere, looks at what I feel is extremely niche. Because I've always thought, man, Arknights is very niche, right? It's one thing to comment on a Hoyo game, but to me, it's like, whoa, even though Arknights is still quite popular, for them to be like, this is extremely well written, I'm like, wow, okay, I feel a sense of pride because I'm so happy to be part of this game, still writing it out, still enjoying it, you know, still being part of the community. So yeah, that's my takeaway from it, and less so how many players can we convert. While it would be great if we could convert more players, I think that won't happen until maybe Enfield. Maybe. Or they do something like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, Enfield is already doing things they break the lore of... Can you hear my dog?
No, I can't.
I have a delivery. You might have to attend to.
Yeah, I can.
I think it's
No, I can pause the recording right now.
Hold on. Yeah, it's all good. Just told the guy to leave the door. Although my dog is barking at the door.
I don't hear him, so it's all good.
Okay, yeah. So, what was the question again?
We were just talking about like Enfield and converting people and its popularity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will Enfield do that? My answer is I actually think Enfield may, but more there's a category of people that it will make them play Arknights. It's the people who care about the story.
Yeah.
Because Enfield clearly wants to link parts of the frontal portions to AK, and we already see that, right, with the whole kind of spoiler territory, but the graveyard scene, the very very start of the game where you have the visions and everything, the sudden tower that you see, and then there's also little Easter eggs where someone even spotted like a Lone Trail music in one of the booths. So it's all very deliberate, and I think they will all put this into the base game as well. So anyone who's curious, like, hey, what's the origins of these Easter eggs, might then say, I want to find it out myself and I'll play AK. But will there be other types of people who play the game, like those very into, maybe they love Enfield's gameplay, will they play AK? Not necessarily, because it's just very different genres.
Right.
They'll just be like, oh, bro, I love hack and slash. I will never play tower defense. But I do also think about there is also a category of people who never knew a thing about Arknights. Right? Lots of people don't know about Genshin, by the way. They only know about Genshin because their friends told them about it. There's way too many advertisements. And many of the casual Genshin gamers are like only casual Genshin gamers. They don't necessarily play a lot of other games. So I also think of it as the same way that if Enfield can attract a casual audience who's never played games, maybe they'll be like, oh, I didn't know there's an Arknights. I only thought like the whole game was called AK Enfield, so maybe I'll try it.
I think design-wise, it's also very different from what's on the market too, which is nice.
Oh, it is. I do have a fear for Enfield, which is I fear that it actually might fall into the same problem as AK, that is, it's very niche. Because it's hack and slash, it's RPG, and it's got elements of factory building.
Yeah.
But I can already foresee that some of these things can feel too convoluted for people, that it deters casuals away from wanting to try it. Because they might think to themselves, oh shoot, I have to build a whole base by myself with conveyor belts and things that connect, but I'm not bright enough to do this, you know, and then they drop off.
Yeah, I completely agree. To me also the combat looks a lot like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh yeah, a lot of people compared it to that.
But I have hopes. My hopes aren't too high. I don't think it's not, as the term always gets thrown around with every new crazy gacha game. is this the Genshin killer? Or is this the star? No, it's not. It's not. Hoyo will not get dethroned until a major company like Tencent Games actually throws its hat into the ring. And I'm not saying publishing, I mean like actually makes something.
I will say though, I don't think it's a Genshin killer, but I do think it will be the game that exists very much side by side of Genshin.
Yeah, I can see that.
Genshin is now facing its own issue where, yes, the game, honestly, Genshin has loads of content, but I don't know if I can describe the content as like substantial content that is super game changing kind of thing. Because the way that they do things is, hey, here's a new region, here's a new major story, but they do that every 3, if not up to 6 months. And then if it's all the mini content in between, it's like, hey, here's a new mini game that you get to play. A bunch of mini games you get to play at the same time. But those aren't like crazy stuff, because it's just, oh, cool, rhythm game, cool, match the blocks. But like, yeah, they don't add to my game time. I want something that's wow, you know? Like,
I completely understand.
Plays with the RPG aspect.
I mean, truth be told though, I also wish... Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, you go ahead first.
I was just gonna say, I really wish AK didn't do a chapter every 6 to 8 months or whatever it is. I think it's about 2 a year. I kind of wish we could get 3 a year chapters, because I am so hungry for that main story.
Do you mean the main chapters?
The main chapters.
Oh, you wish that it was faster?
Oh yeah, I wish it was a little bit faster, because I really enjoy the story, so I want to keep reading it. And it's just like, mind you, Lone Trail, amazing, because it feeds back into all the proper main lore. It's huge. It's by the way, guys, if you haven't like read up the current event Lone Trail or summarize it, hell, it's that good. If you like the lore of Arknights, you should really invest into it. Anyways, as you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, kind of heading back towards Enfield, like, I feel that this game will be more different from the other RPGs. You've never seen an RPG that combines factory building elements into one. You see that only in like, oh, that's just a simulation game of its own, right? No fighting and whatsoever in between. But yet they want to attempt for that, and I don't think that's the only thing that they will attempt. Like, if this game somehow throws at me, I mean, they have crafting mechanics. I don't know if they are gonna add cooking or like different ways of getting materials. Suddenly you have to fish for whatever reason in the game.
I kind of hope not.
And but it depends on the amount of things that they want to add, right? And hopefully they are impactful to the game, the feel of the game, what you actually do in the game. Then I can see Enfield being such a different market choice. Lots of the people who are, I actually think the let's not say sweaty players, let's just say like the players who are more concerned about gameplay in Genshin will probably jump ship into Enfield, because Enfield looks more like there's lots of good things to do instead of just repeating the same sequence. Then it will become just a thing where there's just a split of maybe say 20% of the RPG players in the world wanting to play Enfield and 80 playing Genshin. I think it's actually going to be closer than that. You know, it could even be a 30-70, but nothing like Enfield being bigger than Genshin. I don't think.
I can't physically see that, because there's so many niche parts of it. I feel like Hoyo games are built and made for quote unquote everyone, and AK inherently, even like just normal Arknights and then Enfield as well, going with this design philosophy, it is built for more of a specific type of person. And not to be elitist about it, I think anyone can play it, especially, but it's like, well, do you like tower defense? Cool. Fine, let's go to Enfield. Do you like the Xenoblade Chronicles type of combat? Hopefully there's a little bit more mechanical complexity to it. I can't read Chinese, so I don't fully know. I hope they add more into the systems overall. Also, do you like Satisfactory or Factorio? Great, that's in the game, and it is optimal to do that. Very niche, but I think it is definitely built for those types of people. It doesn't necessarily fall into the same pitfall traps as, say, Azure Lane or some of the other games you've talked about, where it's just like, oh, whatever, right? Like, gets too samey. I know some people might feel otherwise, that Arknights as a whole, it feels a little bit samey, which is fine. It's totally valid. I understand it, but I personally like how things are going.
Enfield definitely has a co-op mode though, somehow. Any game is more enjoyable if you get to play with your friends. But
absolutely.
I've just suddenly thought of this while calling you, that I realized that co-op is actually such a challenge for them.
Oh, yeah.
I highlighted this on my stream, where at first I thought the challenge was, if you go into another person's world, can that person build the buildings, the base together alongside you? And then who does that benefit? Right? Does that benefit the world that they traveled to? Does that benefit themselves? Because why would they want to interfere with another person's land? And then I now just thought that co-op is also harder on combat, because the way that the combat works in Enfield is, how you have to slow things down, plan what's your next move and hit. But when you do that, slow things down, who slows things down? If, let's say, like you and I were playing, if I slow down, do you slow down with me?
So oftentimes in games that have done mechanics like that, multiplayer games, because there have been multiplayer games where there's a slowdown mechanic, if it's not server-wide where everyone can slow it down or whatever, but that's going to get too obnoxious, they just remove the slowdown, because you're playing with two players that can independently control things, like from one another, you already have an advantage. So they would just remove the slowdown, most likely. That's the smartest way to go about that.
That's what I hope that they are thinking of doing. Because in the survey for the alpha test that they've done, definitely most people surface that they really want to see a co-op. And I think now that's what they are working towards into the beta test. How do you actually make 4 people play together?
That's going to be extremely difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if they have to hold off on that component of the game for a while. But that's just my opinion on the matter. So I mean, I have good hopes though for Enfield, and what I'm really interested to see is what it's going to do for the gacha game sphere as a whole, which is something Viper and I often talk a lot about. Like, we speak very frequently on this topic almost every time we call each other, and that is like the future of gacha games, and whether or not we're going to see a change from this constant cycle of like Hoyo clones, or the other weirder niche, like, oh, okay, that's a weird, whatever gacha game. I've heard thrown around this idea, and I still think about it today because I think it's, a proper question to ask is when he feels like, this is subjective, but he wants to know when like a gacha game will feel closer to like a video game and less like a gacha, right? Because we know gacha is just like, well, this is meant to be kind of sort of a little bit, there's more gambling simulator in there than there is video game. Mind you, I think Arknights is a shit ton of video game with not too much on the gambling or the rolling, right? The not too much of the gacha system. I actually think Arknights is very much mostly video game. That's my opinion on that. But do you feel like there might be a day or an age where things might start to shift or change, where it feels like Enfield? You think Enfield? Well, I mean, to be fair though, the CBT didn't have any rolling. We don't know the gacha system because they didn't have it in there. I think
in order for a gacha game to feel like a video game, it should not be a gacha game. That's my opinion to that.
Yeah, that's kind of a conclusion I also got to.
Yeah, but if you're saying how can a gacha game feel very closely to a video game, I will say Enfield already looks like that. A lot of people like to say that for Genshin, but no. The problem with Genshin is it slaps you with gacha a bit too much. The idea of how to get the units, how to get the weapons, and double gacha banner. Like, you are told that this is a gacha game every step of the way.
I know we're gonna get comments on this, so I'm gonna ask it right now. I think there might be a weapon rolling system that might be a thing. So keep that in mind for Enfield.
Or Enfield, right? So I'm on the side that I think there will be a double obtainable system.
Okay.
Because what I mean is, And to be fair, Enfield is in alpha. They could just change that out. But I am on the belief that there's a weapon gacha because there's evidence of it. That in the Enfield game itself, the way to get weapons and characters was by obtaining a currency, right? And then you had to use that currency to purchase the items. They didn't show that in the gacha form. But that reminds me of, how we had the certificate store in Arknights and then you use the certificates to buy. So that kind of implies, you can probably roll for weapons in the game. But that's like a big turn off for me. So, on the other hand, I also think the game will follow a system that could be similar to Destiny, where depending on your playtime, how much you farm, weapons can drop. And quests, things like that will give you weapons. I think some people told me that's a certain thing, that quests will give weapons. And if that's the case, it becomes like a what you want to do. That are you okay with just like the freebies? Hopefully the freebies are powerful enough to not warrant the feeling of needing to gacha. But I mean, you don't see that in Genshin, right? You can't get weapons from completing a quest. You have to roll. So
at least it's not as bad as Nikkei. Oh my god, Nikkei's business model is the worst thing ever.
But that's what I mean by double obtainable system. That I don't think it will just be limited to the banner. I do hope they wipe it out completely. Just follow Destiny. It will be fun, I think.
I'm sure people are already groaning by the mention of Destiny and their system for rolling stuff. Still, I also have faith.
It's not purchasable.
Yeah, that's fair.
By your game type.
So yeah. I have faith in AK. I think in most games, a lot of money should really primarily come from cosmetics. Because if your game is strong enough and people like your game enough, just do cosmetics. People are gonna love it. They're gonna League of Legends essentially. Also, AK has a lot of free units. If anyone here has watched a Kyostin guide, you can beat the majority of the game with totally free units. Sometimes you gotta borrow a unit, which is fine because by that point in your, if you're that far in the game, you will have rolled for one meta unit easily. Even if you do a one-off or something here and there, it is the most free-to-play friendly game. I even made a new account just to try it out to show another person who was trying to get into the game, and they're like, "Oh, this is kind of hard." And I showed them like, "No, it's not that hard." So we just went back and forth. By the way, I don't know if you've tried a new account or talked to anyone with a new account. If you started one now with their new beginner banner, oh my god, is that new beginner banner insanely strong? And you could easily play.
Oh, the new beginner banner is effective now. Oh, good reminder. Thanks.
Yeah, chapter 12. It was chapter 12. It came out. Do a video about it.
Yeah,
do a video about it.
It's one of the best new beginner banners.
Oh my god, it's insane, and it's supposed to be the new permanent beginner banner, obviously, but it's really solid. I got thorns on my first 10.
Mountain, Suzu. Can't remember the rest.
Arketo,
Arketo's decent.
Weedy.
Weedy can be tricky to start, but it's okay.
Yeah, but it's still
Weedy's the trickiest one.
Weedy is the trickiest one, but still, it's an insanely good banner. You can also play on our new account, right, without spending a single dime. I think you can easily play for about 20 or 30 hours straight, not spending a single dollar on all the OP they give you per chapter, and the stamina you keep getting for constantly leveling up. You're gonna be over your sanity cap constantly, and unlike a lot of those other not based games, your sanity doesn't cap. Although apparently they changed that in the Star Rail, and I'm very happy about that. But yeah, when you go over your sanity, it's fine. You just don't generate more. You just have excessive, which is neat. That's great. Do that. But yeah, AK, you can play for 30 hours, I swear to God. Straight. Consecutively. Don't do that. But
you can do that once you go to the other game modes. The ones that don't use the sanity.
Oh, yeah.
IS, SSS. Soon, reclamation. I was told reclamation is permanent. which is good. I wanted it permanent. I think the big problem with it was that it was not permanent.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
It's very incentivizing to play.
I very much love a lot of those side game modes. I think they're fantastic and they add so much to the game. I'm obsessed with IS. I play too much IS. I play excessively, and I love that I can get a bunch of grinding materials out of it. You know, just for having fun, because you just do that for fun. And any IS run of mine, I always started off with random squad, right? Random units, and I always try to borrow all my units in the very beginning because I get to play with units I've never built before. I think it's an awesome way to, you know, really get into the game and have fun with it. Takes a while to get there, by the way. Takes quite a while to have a team that's like good for IS, but it's still worth it. So I mean, I guess we talked about though the you know, the future of gacha, or at least our predictions of how we're gonna feel about gacha. We're waiting with bated breath. There's a couple of games I'm looking out for that are technically gacha. Like I am looking forward to ZZZ. Curious to see what it's gonna be like. Yes, its design philosophy is kind of for me, but you know, it to me it's just like it's more Hoyo designs, which is alright if that's your thing. I'm getting a little bit fatigued from it. There's also was it Dual Night Abyss? Oh no, I think it's Dual Night Abyss. I don't know. Have you heard of that one? Oh yeah, it's Warframe plus Genshin. Warframe, yeah, plus Genshin, which is, I saw the trailer, looks nuts. Can't wait for it. I'm actually very excited about that. Voice acting is also stellar, which is a decent sign of quality. But yeah, you know, I'm hoping things take a turn for gacha games as a whole and start to improve, and we stop making so many Genshin clones, or Hoyo clones, I should say. God, that would make me happy. All right, so to kind of wrap things up, though, Kuki, you got any questions for me, by the way?
Not entirely. Just
not entirely.
I've been doing well.
I've been doing great, dude. I've been doing great. I've been working like crazy, but it's been like nothing but happiness. I actually love it. I got a manager now, so he's been basically yelling at me to do stuff.
What do you mean by it? What's the story of that?
So I work on the Arknights Abridged project, right? After episode 1, I started getting on that, and then I got on everyone's asses about moving shit and making sure shit happened. The co-writer of the project, his name is Dan. Him and I got along super well. Dude was exceedingly helpful for the last like over half year, and anytime I'd ask him, he eventually kind of slowly just became a secretary for me. And I'm like, yo, if you're down for it, you just want to like help manage my brand. And by manage my brand, what I really mean is his job is to shout at a man-child, that's me, to do his fucking job and stop being so lazy, and also help me stay organized, right? So I have a very strict, rigid schedule now on what I do, on what days, and what I'm working on, just so I can keep everything in order, because it's so easy for me to lose track of everything. And it'll just double check, hey, do you already have a song written and ready for next week's upload? Do you have operator profiles? Go check those out if you haven't. We're doing lore readings, right? Or sorry, profile records. We're doing readings of different operator profiles by various voice actors and even content creators. Polaris, who's doing one, Skorak did one. I tried to get Viper to do one, but he's just like, no, you already did Mostima, it's good. I'm like, you're just insecure about it. I'm joking. That's a joke. I'm sure Kuki will do one for his favorite operator.
Maybe.
I don't
know if I have a favorite operator per se, but we'll see what I do down the line.
The other fun thing that we do in those projects too is that we try to make it feel like kind of like old SCP like tapes that's like a type of YouTube content video. We make it sound like it's found footage or found tapes that you listen to, almost like in a video game. And we come up with these random characters who are just jobbers that that are just, doing their job and then doing like the records, and we try to add as much personality to it as if, they're actually work at Rhodes Island and they're trying to, just recount the entire record, which is pretty nice. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but yeah, no. So aside from that though, that's been my mostly my schedule. I'm working a crap ton, and I now thankfully have somebody part of my team who is helping me stay focused and on task. So yeah, man. But is there anything closing, anything you want to talk about, or anything you want to bring up to put this to a close?
The way I see it is I really hope for 2024 to be a good time for Arknights. Like, that's my own devotion to it. That even though yes, people are facing this time where Yi left and whatnot, but I don't know if there's going to be a bunch of other creators who would leave. There might be a new creators coming in as well. But I take 2024 as one of my last stretch of really putting out AK in the spotlight, and after that, prepare ourselves for Enfield when it comes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me after your very hectic schedule and doing this interview. And we'll probably do another one in the future, right? Most likely after the holidays to check up on you and see how everything's going. See if your feelings and statements towards a lot of stuff is still the same, right? Hopefully you aren't beaten down by school and whatnot. And yeah, let's make sure that 2024 is your year. And we're going to help him out. Isn't that right, everyone? All right.
Keep watching me and Isaac.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep watching. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Have a great one.